The air in the Portland chapel still carried the faint sweetness of lilies, Grandpa Henry's favorite flower, when my cousin Rachel's voice sliced through the hum of departing mourners like a jagged blade. "You can't seriously think you deserve a single piece of Grandpa's estate, Emily," she sneered, her tone rising sharp and cold. "You're not even his real granddaughter." The memorial service had just ended, and the small crowd of family was trickling out, their footsteps soft against the worn wooden floor. I stood there, clutching my coat, trying to steady my breath. "That's not fair, Rachel," I said, keeping my voice even despite the tremor threatening to break it. "Grandpa Henry never treated me like I wasn't his, adoption or not. I was his granddaughter. Blood doesn't change that." Rachel smoothed her sleek black dress with perfectly manicured hands, her lips curling into a dismissive smirk. "Blood is everything, Emily. The family legacy belongs to those who actually belong. You don't have a drop of his." Her words hit like a punch to the gut, but I fought to keep my composure. "He was my grandfather for 25 years, I said, my voice firmer now. "That means something." "Legally it means nothing," she snapped, dropping her voice to a venomous whisper. "I'm his only biological grandchild. Everything should be mine. Fight this and you'll just make a fool of yourself. I'm Emily Carter, 27, adopted at 2 by my parents, Michael and Laura. Grandpa Henry was the one person who never made me feel like an outsider. He'd take me fishing on misty summer mornings, teach me chess by the crackling fireplace, and spin tales of our family history as if it were mine by right, not just by chance. All I wanted now was to honor his memory, to see his possessions, his life's work, shared the way he'd have wanted. Standing in my way was Rachel, my cousin, who'd always seen my place in the family as a borrowed privilege, a flimsy lie she could unravel whenever it suited her. "This isn't about the money," I said, though Grandpa Henry's estate was no small thing, an architect's fortune of properties and investments that could turn heads. "It's about respecting what he wanted." "His wishes?" Rachel waved a hand, brushing off the idea like dust. "His wishes would have been to keep his legacy with his real family. Face it, Emily. You're the stray my grandparents pitted because Aunt Laura couldn't have kids." The sting of her words burned deep, but before I could fire back, Uncle James, Rachel's dad, approached with the family lawyer, Mr. Grayson, in tow. "I've set a meeting about Henry's estate for next week," Mr. Grayson said, his tone clipped and professional. "I know it's a tough time, but we should settle this soon." Rachel flashed me a smug, triumphant grin. "Perfect. Let's get it over with." As they turned to leave, something slipped from Mr. Grayson's portfolio. A sealed envelope with my name scrawled across it in Grandpa Henry's unmistakable handwriting. I snatched it up before anyone noticed, my heart racing as I read the note in the corner, to be opened only in the event of family dispute. Grandpa, it seemed, had seen this storm brewing. And somehow I knew Rachel's confidence might not hold as steady as she thought. Adoption was never a secret in our family. My parents told me the story countless times, how they'd fallen for me the moment they saw me, a wide-eyed toddler with no memory of life before them. I grew up knowing I was chosen, not born, into the Carter clan. Grandpa Henry embraced me from the start, his warm voice rumbling. "Family's not about blood, Emily. It's about who you love." His wife, Grandma Margaret, had been just as kind until she passed 5 years ago. Their acceptance shielded me from the occasional unease of being the only adopted kid in a family of biological ties. Rachel and I were born 3 months apart, but we were oil and water. I was the quiet one, burying myself in books and history, now a librarian preserving stories for a living. She was the loud one, a real estate agent obsessed with the price tags on everything. Our childhood was a battlefield of petty rivalries, whose doll was prettier, who ran faster, but beneath it ran something darker from her. "You're so lucky," she'd said once, her teenage voice dripping with envy. "You get to be part of the family without the pressure. No one expects you to care about the Carter name." She didn't see how I craved that weight, how I'd beg Grandpa to let me sort his architectural sketches or tag along to Heritage Society meetings. I wanted roots even if they weren't mine by birth. Grandpa got it. He'd carve out time for me, sharing tales of Carter's past, saying, "You're one of us now, Emily. This history's yours too." For my 18th birthday, he gave me a leather journal packed with family photos, stories, and his own drawings of places that mattered to us. Rachel got a gold locket with Grandma Margaret's picture. She'd flaunt it at gatherings, but my journal lived by my bedside, a treasure I'd never trade. Things soured more when Grandpa's health faded. Rachel's visits were rare, always with some pricey gift but never her time. I was there weekly, reading him old novels or just sitting quietly as he napped. Sometimes I'd catch him watching me, his eyes holding something heavy, worry maybe, or resolve. Once, while sorting his desk, I found old adoption papers, not mine but ancient ones. When I asked, he brushed it off. Another time. When it's needed, he said, tucking them away. I let it go then. Now I wish I'd pushed. The day of the estate meeting dawned gray and rainy, a perfect Portland gloom. I got to Mr. Grayson's office early, only to find Rachel and Uncle James already there, whispering with the lawyer. They clammed up when I walked in, their glances sharp enough to cut glass. Emily. Thanks for coming, Mr. Grayson said, nodding to a chair. We were just going over some details. I'm sure you were, I replied, setting Grandpa's sealed envelope on the table. I hadn't opened it yet, honoring his instructions. Rachel's eyes zeroed in on it. What's that? Something Grandpa left me, I said coolly. Mr. Grayson cleared his throat. Let's start with the estate. He rattled off the assets. The grand old house in Portland's West Hills, a beach cottage on the coast, investment accounts, and a stash of rare architectural sketches worth a fortune. It was more than I'd imagined. Now the will, he continued. Henry specified his estate be split equally between his 2 grandchildren. What? Rachel's voice cracked, her poise crumbling. That's insane. It's clear, Mr. Grayson said, unfazed. Both Emily Carter and Rachel Carter are named. She's adopted. Uncle James cut in, jabbing a finger at me. She's not blood. The will names Emily explicitly, Mr. Grayson replied, his tone like steel. Rachel's face flushed crimson. This is ridiculous. Grandpa wouldn't want family heirlooms going to someone who isn't even a Carter. I am a Carter, I said, quiet but firm. Not in any real way, she spat, turning to Mr. Grayson. I'm contesting this. She must have twisted his arm when he was sick. There's no other explanation. That's a bold claim, Mr. Grayson said, his voice sharpening. It's the only one that fits. Rachel insisted. She was always there, fussing over him, digging through his stuff. Who knows what she did? The accusation stung like a slap. I was being his granddaughter, I shot back. Something you couldn't bother with. You're not his granddaughter. Rachel shouted, her control gone. You're some random kid my aunt and uncle took in because they couldn't have their own. You've got no right to anything with the Carter name. The room went dead silent. Even Uncle James shifted uncomfortably. Rachel, I started, my voice shaking despite myself. Grandpa never saw me as less. Then he was too soft or too senile, she said icily. I'm the only true Carter here, and I won't let you steal what's mine. I demand an investigation into that will. Mr. Grayson sighed. Given this dispute, we'll pause here. I'll need to review things further. His eyes flicked to my envelope. And it seems we've got more to consider. As we left, Rachel brushed past me, then hissed. This isn't over. You might have tricked Grandpa, but you won't trick me. You'll always be an outsider. Her words clung to me as I gripped the envelope tighter. Whatever was inside, I'd need it now. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about my place in the family I'd always called home. That night, alone in my apartment, I tore open Grandpa's envelope with trembling hands. To be opened only in the event of family dispute. If Rachel's war cry didn't count, nothing would. Inside was a short letter and a small key. My dear Emily, if you're reading this, my worst fears have come true, and Rachel's challenging your place in our family and my estate. This key unlocks the bottom drawer of my study desk, the one I kept locked. Inside you'll find papers that might help, plus another letter with the full story. Whatever happens, know this. Family is love, not blood. You've always been my granddaughter, and nothing changes that. With all my love, Grandpa Henry. Tears blurred the words, but they lit a fire in me too. The next day, I drove to the family house, letting myself in with my key. The silence was deafening without Grandpa's voice filling it. In his study, surrounded by books and blueprints, I unlocked the drawer. There was a thick folder labeled Emily and another sealed envelope. I was about to open it when the front door creaked. Anyone here? Rachel's voice rang out. I shoved the folder and envelope into my bag, heart pounding. I had every right to be there, but I wasn't ready for a showdown. Too late. Rachel appeared in the doorway, her eyes narrowing. "What are you doing?" "Picking up some things Grandpa wanted me to have," I said, forcing calm. "Nothing here's yours yet," she snapped, stepping closer. "The will's contested, remember? You shouldn't be taking anything." "I'm not taking, I'm retrieving what he left me." Her face darkened. "You won't let this go, will you?" "I talked to my lawyer yesterday. He says I've got a solid shot at being the only heir. Adopted grandkids don't always have the same rights." "That's not true," I said, though I wasn't sure. "Doesn't matter," she pressed. Circling the desk. "Even if the law's murky, do you really want to drag this family through court? Think of Aunt Laura and Uncle Michael, how they feel watching you claw for Grandpa's cash." The guilt trip was blatant but effective. My parents hated fights, and a legal mess would gut them. "This isn't about money," I said. "It's about Grandpa's wishes and my place here." Rachel laughed, cold and cutting. "Your place was a pity invite. Don't make it weird for everyone by pretending it's more." I gripped my bag, feeling the folder inside. "We're done here," I said, heading for the door. "Wait," she called, her tone softening. "A snake shedding its skin. Maybe I've been too hard. We're both grieving. How about a compromise?" I paused, wary. "What kind?" "You drop the fight, and I'll make sure you get some sentimental stuff, the chest that he taught you with, his old architecture books. Things that matter to you." It sounded generous, but it was a slap, keepsakes while she took the fortune. "I'll think about it," I said, hiding my cards. Her smile was smug. "Take your time. Just don't call me till you decide. I'd rather deal through lawyers." "Fine," I agreed. "I won't reach out till it's settled." "Good," she said, laughing. "Not that I'd need anything from you. This is me being nice." I left, the folder burning a hole in my bag. Rachel thought she'd won, but Grandpa had left me something bigger, and I was about to find out what. Back home, I spilled the folder's contents across my table. What I found stole my breath. Papers going back 60 years, birth certificates, death records, adoption files I didn't recognize. Then the second envelope, a long letter in Grandpa's hand, dated 6 months before he died. "My dearest Emily, here's a secret I've carried most of my life. I plan to tell you someday. But maybe I waited too long. I wasn't born a Carter. I was Robert Ellis, orphaned at 7 during the Depression, adopted at 9 by Thomas and Margaret Carter. They gave me their name, their love. And later, their architectural firm. They raised me as their son, never letting me feel less. They taught me families built on love, not blood. The papers you've got prove it. And here's the kicker. James isn't my biological son either. Margaret and I couldn't have kids, so we adopted him as a baby. We raised him as ours like I was raised a Carter. He's always known. Though we didn't talk about it much. After Rachel came along, I think he wanted a real bloodline to tie him to the Carters. Here's the irony. None of us, me, James, Rachel, are Carters by blood. Rachel's claim to being the true Carter granddaughter is nonsense. We're Carters by choice, by love, the truest kind of family. I never told James the first was adopted too. Maybe that was wrong. But I'm telling you now because I feared this fight might come, and it'd break my heart to see you pushed out. My will splits everything between you and Rachel because you're both my granddaughters. Period. Use these papers if you have to, though I hope it doesn't come to that. No, I love you and you'll always be mine. Grandpa Henry. I leaned back, reeling. Grandpa was adopted. Uncle James was too. Rachel's whole blood heir crusade was a house of cards. The folder held a family tree he'd drawn, mapping adoptions across generations. Plus photos, young Henry with his adoptive parents, baby James in Grandma Margaret's arms, me with Grandpa, his notes about our bond scribbled on the back. The last paper was a notarized affidavit, declaring me his legitimate granddaughter and heir, citing our shared adoption as proof of our tie. His doctor's note confirmed he was sharp as ever when he signed it, weeks before he passed. My phone buzzed, "Mr. Grayson. Rachel's lawyers contesting the will officially. We need to meet ASAP." I gathered the papers, my mind racing. 4.